Have you ever sat on the bench with your life on the line? Witnessing RIN being kicked to the bench after that stinker of a performance had me salivating like a rabid dog. I was elated. For so long, this nut has been a thorn in my side, and frankly, these recent developments have been such a breath of fresh air. Platoshi RIN, I'm speaking directly to you. Do you actually realize for 1 second just how badly you had to have sold the bag to end up in this predicament? Just who were you feeling like sabotaging Isagi's opportunity after ghosting the entire game? You are an absolute and irredeemable buffoon. But enough yapping, let's quickly get to speed on what's going on. We pick things up in the locker room following Japan's defeat to France. The air is thick and palpable with tension. Everyone's heads are hung over in frustration. Shido, furious, punts his soda can into the air and wastes absolutely no time calling RIN out. Shortly thereafter, a scuffle ensues, and IQ finally remembers how to defend. Once the fight's been broken up, we pan over to Isagi. It's my fault. That hurt. He prefaces his speech by apologizing for his lackluster performance. Now, genuinely, I can't help but respect this. I'm a sucker for people that take accountability for their mistakes. Good on you, Isagi, good on you. After some brief discourse, we broach the meat of the chapter. Isagi poses an important question to the room. What even is ego? Now, ego is a term we've been loosely throwing around the entire story, but exactly what it means to each person isn't something we fully explored yet. This question baffles the locker room, and after a brief moment of introspection, we begin to hear some different perspectives. To Bachira, ego is the monster inside of him. Classic. Shigeru rebuts this and posits the ego is your essential self. I don't know what kind of philosopher he thinks he is. Ryo pitches in with his own 2 cents of ego being the selfish portion of yourself. I suspect Ryo's definition of ego more closely aligns with the majority of readers. I know when I think of ego, I'm thinking about Ronaldo, Ibra, those cocky players who are willing to take those outrageous shots. After some of the others chime in, we again cut back to Isagi, who astutely defines the crux of the matter. This notion of ego is too hazy and ill-defined, which makes it hard for everyone to come to a consensus and actually strive towards the same objective. He states that in order for Blue Lock to take it to the next level, they must first agree on what it means to be the world's top egotist. With that thought in the air, the crash out makes his appearance. With a menacing expression, he authoritatively defines what the concept of ego is. Ego is the playstyle of one's life. Now, what the hell does that mean? Ego elaborates. Humans are social creatures that cannot survive without connections with other fellow humans. And he's right. Could you imagine trying to survive having absolutely nobody to talk to? No friends, no family, no ops, nobody. That would be a miserable existence. Ego states this behavior of seeking connections with other people is the game of life. And as humans play and traverse this game of life, through trial and error, people eventually develop their own personalities and sense of self. The logic and reasoning that underpins your everyday decisions is called ego. In other words, ego is the compass that decides how you live your life. Ego is dropping straight heat. This comes as a revelation to the players, who now start to piece together Ego's previously eccentric and incomprehensible methods. And in Isagi, the gears immediately start to turn. Isagi considers his sense of self, his personality, of being a rebel who devours number ones. He then adds this to his ego, which he now recognizes is a compass pointing him in the right direction, and comes to the natural conclusion that if he continues to hone and temper this rebellious streak, if he continues to follow the needle of his ego's compass, he will eventually storm his way into being the world's top striker. GOAT. But that's when Karasu, with his big fat head and newfound confidence, decides to confront Ego. He questions whether Ego's methods are truly effective, stating that due to his philosophy, Isagi and RIN collided with each other in the France game, directly resulting in their loss. He even goes as far as to doubt Blue Lock in its entirety. What is this guy on? A high mid-tier character daring to antagonize Ego. He got a bit of clout in the France game and he thinks he's hot stuff. He thinks he can bite the hand that feeds him. Ego stands there stoic, expressionless, gobsmacked that a mid-tier character called him out before he crashes the hell out. He devolves into a fit of maniacal laughter before laying down the dirty facts. Blue Lock is not a sane environment. Manufacturing the world's best striker is not a rational experiment. His madness has been the battery that has brought Blue Lock so far, and he emphatically states that if losing to France was enough for you bums to switch up on him, then get the hell out. And here's where Ego corrects some misconceptions. He asserts that the reason they lost to France wasn't because its methods were wrong. No, it's because a few people abandoned their desire to be the world's best, which threw the whole system into disarray. Karasu. He concludes his crash out by shattering the TV screen, dripping blood from his fingers, and addressing the players as the trash they are before telling them to cool off and recover. As he leaves, he proclaims that the next day they would attack with a new kind of madness. This got my Goshido excited. As Ego exits the room, Isagi makes a crazy request. He asks to be left out the starting rotation against England. He admits he lost sight of being the world's #1 in the last game, a direct contradiction to Ego's ideals. Indeed, he declares that Blue Lock needs to be reborn, a sentiment that Ego agrees with. However, that's when Ego makes an astonishing announcement that Isagi isn't the one that's going to be left out the next game. Nah, it's RIN. RIN's face scrunches in alarm as the chapter ends. What a chapter. This RIN bum really thought he could sneak through after ghosting the entire last match. He pops up at the last moment and scoffs a guaranteed goal, all because he was scared Isagi would overtake him. I've been waiting patiently for the moment you were finally punished for this little destroyer gimmick, and boy is it sweet. I'm fiending to see how Sei reacts to his little bro handing out water from the bench next game. Maybe that's what he finally needs to get his ass off that couch. In Karasu, I really don't know who's got you feeling like your hot stuff. You do not have the credentials to be stirring up this much of a ruckus. You are and always will be a B-Tech Isagi. Relax. Isagi, I love the humility you've shown in this chapter. Honestly, I was gearing up to slander you as well after you got locked up against France. But honestly, what you did at the end of the game moved me, and in light of the grace you've shown this chapter, I'm cool. This chapter was incredible. We finally have a clear definition of what ego is and what it means to be the world's best egotist. I'm super excited to see how everyone's going to apply this newfound knowledge in the future, and I'm eagerly awaiting to see what adjustments Ego makes to the team. I'm praying for a generational Shido performance that will feed the masses. I need it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. I don't want to be limited on this channel. I want to cover a bunch of different anime, manga, TV series, movies, news, anything. So drop your suggestions in the comments and tell me how I can improve.